If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, especially in court, and you think that the courts are rigged against you, that is not true. There are ways that narcissists end up getting triggered and then they rage in court and in front of the judge. And I want to teach you what they are and how to use them ethically. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist in court, whether it's family court, business court, probate, whatever it is, you already know that they can preen and they can peacock and they can put on a really good show. But there are times when they crack. There are times when that mask slips and it changes everything. And I want you to have those triggers so that either if it's you who's the one who's going to be presenting in court, or maybe it's your lawyer who's going to be working with you to do this, that you know what to do, okay? I mean, here's the truth. Narcissists do explode in court. Why does it happen? It happens because in some ways, court can be like kryptonite to a narcissist. When you're exposing them, when you are showing the judge who they truly are, you use facts over feelings and you use patterned proof and evidence over drama, and you're the one who's calm, then that narcissist's entire strategy falls apart because their strategy is chaos. Their strategy is to make you look like you're the crazy one. And that way they get to control the narrative, right? It's actually not a very smart strategy. And here's the thing, that courts aren't going to deal with that. That judges hate that stuff. They want to know, how do these facts apply to the law? That way I can apply the law and move on to the next case. And if you take away that potential grenade that narcissist is going to try to use against you, then they'll blow up in court. They blow up in court if there's a threat to their false image, where they see that they're going to be exposed, especially with their own behavior, their own words, their own acts. And then they start to feel that loss of control and they fear being exposed. Nothing terrifies a narcissist more than no longer being able to dictate the narrative and feeling like they're going to lose control because they're staring documentation in the face. Okay. And that fear becomes rage. So here are the most common rage triggers for court or mediation, or if you're in the judicial system at all. These are the triggers that I've seen over my 25 years as a trial lawyer. Even the covert narcissist can't resist, end up with that mask falling off, and then you become the one with the power. And even more importantly, you're the one who gets the results that you deserve. The trigger number one is facts that contradict their story. If you've got organized, irrefutable documentation, and what do I mean by organized? I mean, you have a timeline, you have patterns of lies, manipulative behavior, deceptive behavior, wrongdoing, and patterns meaning at least 3 instances. And then you have the contradictions from what they are saying. And it's super easy for a judge or a lawyer or anybody to see. And then you calmly present those facts, and it's their own behavior. Here's how many times they didn't pay. Here's how many times they threatened me. Here's how many times they lied or said something inconsistent. Then they start to feel challenged and their superiority gets threatened and they erupt, especially on cross-examination. Trigger number 2 is having to wait. They can't stand it. They want to respond right now. They erupt. If you're saying something that they don't like, they're going to make faces. They're going to sigh. They're going to I've seen them actually say, that's not true. They don't want to have to wait their turn. They don't want to have to wait for cross-examination. They don't want to wait to see what's going to happen or, when they get a turn to speak. Patience is not their virtue because it feels like they're submitting. It feels like they're being told what to do, which is the thing they hate the most. Trigger number 3 is judicial neutrality. If the judge isn't fawning all over them and actually asks some questions that make it seem like they're questioning them, or maybe they even don't rule for them in an objection, these little things during the course of a case where it seems like you might be getting the upper hand, they start to meltdown. Trigger number 4 is they don't like being asked direct questions. They don't want that precision. They don't want that manipulation. Even just something simple like, is this your signature? Is this your email? Were you using this email on June 7th? Did you send an email to so-and-so? Yes. Okay. Was the topic of it this? They don't like being painted in. They don't like being cornered. And these are all very ethical things that you can do that are meant for you to use, but you've got to have patterned proof. And the way you start with that is documentation. And so what I want you to do right now is go to docthenarc.com and get my Doc the Narc cheat sheet, because then you can actually start creating patterned proof yourself, and that's like the first step to cornering them. Okay. And then the last one is when you stay calm. That's total kryptonite, because they count on you reacting. They count on being able to have that power over you still, so that you go crazy. Your calmness signals that you are shifting, that there's a new game in town, that they don't have this guru power over you to make you collapse or lose control. Their manipulative influence is fading, and they can't stand that, because they're counting on exposing your instability. If you need additional support, make sure you join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. So what does rage look like in court? It looks like eye rolling, sarcasm, interrupting, over explaining, talking in circles, making dramatic sighs, making faces at you, passive aggressive little digs. They want to get you off your game. So they'll do things to try to get you off your game. I've actually, as I said before, I've seen them explosively yell, point, name call, storm out. I've seen them do that, attack you verbally. And here's what you have to understand. The judges know exactly what they're seeing. They've seen thousands of cases in most instances. They know how to spot the credible one, the unstable one, but you've got to prove to them that it's you, that you're the one who they can kind of count on to be stable and believable. Every single thing that I just suggested to you here is ethical, it's doable, it's strategic. It will safely help you get the results that you deserve, the justice that you deserve. Understand, you're not weaponizing anything other than their own behavior to expose the truth, and you are framing the narrative in the way that it needs to be framed. So you present organized, clean evidence. The more organized you are, the more disorganized they become. Narcissists thrive in chaos. When you remove the chaos, they crumble. Let your timelines, your charts, your graphs, your exhibits, your AI generated summaries, which you have to use Slay AI, because I created an AI just to help you do this instantly. Financial worksheets, they all speak for themselves. So stick to the facts, not feelings. Keep your tone neutral like emotional calm. This becomes sandpaper or nails on a chalkboard to a narcissist, okay? Let your silence work for you. Take a pause. If you pause at least 8 seconds, it actually shifts the power dynamic. And don't let them trigger you. Let their reactions be the evidence. Let your credibility shine through, because you are cool, calm, collected, composed, confident, all the C's. If they do rage, if they do explode, do not react, don't laugh, don't smirk, don't defend, just be like gray rock, okay? Let the judge see what's going on. Let the mediator see what's going on. Let them stew in their own mess. You stay dignified, steady, focused, strategic, because every eruption exposes their emotional dysregulation, their inability to be calm, to co-parent, whatever it is, their inability to communicate, their lack of credibility. This is leverage. This is your leverage. This is emotional leverage. It's identity leverage. It ultimately becomes your independence leverage. The one with the most leverage is the one who wins, not the one who suffered the most. That, unfortunately, is not the way it works. And you have to give your lawyer this information because the lawyer knows the law, but they don't know your life. And they're not going to sit there and sift through your 35,000 text messages to try to piece together leverage. That's on you. Okay. And so when you understand narcissistic rage or why it happens, how it works, what you can do to navigate it, you move away from fear to clarity, from chaos to control, from reaction to strategy, and now you are the one with the upper hand. If you've ever built anything from scratch, whether it's a business, a brand, or a podcast, you know there's nothing small about it. The decisions, the hustle, the grind, the pressure, it's so all-consuming, and that's why I was so grateful to find Shopify when I set up my own store, shop.rebeccazung.com. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and handles 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from giants like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just starting out. It simplifies everything: inventory, payments, analytics, marketing, all in one place, and their built-in tools make it so easy to run email and social campaigns that keep customers coming back. If you're selling globally, Shopify can help you do that too at over 150 countries. If you're selling in person, their award-winning point of sale brings your online and retail worlds together. And with 99.9% uptime and the best converting checkout on the planet, you'll never miss a sale. Get all the big stuff for your small business right with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial and start selling at shopify.com/negotiate. That's shopify.com/negotiate. All right, so the next video that I want you to watch are 5 things that piss off family court judges, because you don't want to ruin your case. You don't want to do that. So watch that video next. And if you like this video, make sure you like it, you share it, you subscribed to this channel, hit that notification bell. Know that there are certain things that you can do to sabotage their credibility and bolster your own. Okay. And these are just a few things that you can do. Right. So I will see you in that next video.